software enable business, right? So it is the business who need the software, so they develop the software. It will align with the needs of their customers, and the customer requirement change day over day, and sometimes you take a new business direction, so you want to change your software over time. So software get changed all the time, and these changes in the software are to be used by your end customers, so you should deliver the changes what you made to the software over to your customer, and then that change that you deliver to the customer should be reliable, available, or you can say software should be usable by the customer the way it is. And this is one big challenge that most of the companies are facing, and CICD brings a solution to this particular problem. And today we will talk about what is CICD and what are the best practices that you should follow when you bring CICD practices to your project. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I would be posting a lot of useful videos like this that would help you, bring in a lot of changes to your DevOps training. So with that, let's talk about CI/CD. You walk into a company and what do you see? You see a lot of people, a lot of teams working together, right? And there are teams who take care of the coding, right? They, every time the business or the software needs to be changed, they write the code to bring in those changes and deliver those code changes. And then there are teams who are for a QA purpose. They ensure the quality of the software. They make sure that the software works the way it intended to be. And there would be other teams, security teams. They make sure that the software does not have any vulnerabilities, and if there are anything that is identified, it is reported to the developer as soon as possible. And then there are operations team. They are the ones who deal with the cloud, the machines, installations, deployments, and things like that. So, and there are release managers, and a monitoring team, NOC team. There are a lot of teams who sit inside the company, but just think about this. All these teams, all these people are working only for one purpose: making changes to the software as the business needs them, and deliver the changes to your customers, and make sure that this delivered software is actually usable by the customer. It is reliable and it is available to your customer when they use it. So that's what they do. Even though there are different team, there are different people, and even individuals within the team have different responsibilities, but at the end this is what they do, and they do it together even though they are split into various teams. So what is CI/CD? So whatever work that needs to happen for the software to be changed and made it available to the customer in a very reliable manner, whatever work that needs to be done, you just try to automate them and bring in all these teams work into one single workflow, right? Rather than development team having their own workflow, and then operations team with a different workflow, security team has their own, and QA team. Instead of doing that, just bring in every work culture into one single workflow. Your code get modified when a business change is needed, and then this change code need to undergo a lot of process. The code change, then quality assurance, the security scanning, different operation stuff such as deployment, and this whole process has to happen in a completely automated way until the software is ready to go to your customer, or at least you can say you have a very good confidence that the software is changed and the potential change did not bring a lot of trouble into your software, and the software is tested very well, and now it is ready to go to production. So you gain that confidence through a series of automated process that happens every time a code is changed on your software. So now you might think, all right, so developer make the code change, and then there is a development workflow that need to happen. For example, unit testing or code review need to happen. So that process is completed, and after that the testing need to happen. Then the QA workflow starts, which will do a lot of testing, and then software get verified through the testing. Then the security workflow would it does not work that way, right? Actually, because all this has to happen at various level within this workflow. For example, When we talk about testing, testing has different variants. When the code gets changed, you want to make test the functions, check the code at the function level. You want to do some testing there. Then after the code get finished, you might want to do some integration testing. After you run the software on a machine, you might want to do some API testing. You might want to do some UI based testing. Then after that, before you release, you might want to do even some manual testing also. So testing happens at various level, not a specific workflow, but within the big workflow, testing can happen at one point or various. And similarly, when it comes to the security scanning, security team want to do a lot of stuff, right? They want to verify the code when developer changed them. Then later on, the code got built into some executable code. That executable code need to be tested as well. So even when we talk about security, you cannot consider security as a dedicated workflow, but rather it should come into this big CICD workflow that you currently have. And when it comes to the operation teamwork, when we talk about deployment or monitoring, there are different environment. There are different dev environments, test environment, production, and the companies have different environments. So you want to deploy the software into the dev environment very frequently, to the stage environment less frequently than develop, to the production, you don't do it that much frequently, but there should be an operations team who should be responsible for all this deployment, monitoring, and things like that. So when we talk about CI/CD, CI/CD is not something that is one team effort. Every team effort should come together in one single workflow. For example, if I tell you one use case example, you are a developer, right? You are using some technologies like Java to develop your software, and software needs to be changed. Your developer made a code change because you want to integrate some new payment method into your e-commerce website, so you are doing some coding. After the coding, the code need to undergo some unit testing, and in order to do some unit testing based on the technology, you might be using different tool. For Java, it could be JUnit, so you would use some JUnit library to do all kind of testing, and then you build the code into some jar file or some executable code. And in order to do the building, you might want to use different technologies such Maven or Gradle, different build tool you will have to use. I mean, I'm just talking about one particular example, but all these tools can vary from technology to technology. It can vary, but it doesn't matter. There are always way for you to automate stuff. And then after you created the executable code, you might want to run this executable code on an environment that you use for testing purpose. And then once your software start running in that environment, you might want to do some more testing, such as integration testing or UI based testing, different automated testing. You might want to generate the report, and then after that, your security team might also want to do some scanning, because you are running software on a machine. Then software has to undergo a lot of scanning based on the code, scanning based on the executable code, scanning based on the operating system that you are using. A lot of security vulnerability check needs to happen at various levels, and even software need to get deployed so into the dev environment, into stage, into production. For that, you would be using different tools, and all this process can be automated, and they can be brought into one single automated workflow, and that is possible. Many companies are literally doing it. Developer change the code will undergo the whole process of verification, deployment, security, and things like that. And within few minutes, developer get a feedback saying that either it succeeded or it failed, right? Basically, the idea is that it is not that your developer make less error. That is not the objective of CI/CD. If there is a possible problem inside the software, the developer should get to know about the problem as early as possible. If possible, within minutes, they should know. So as a DevOps SRE guy, your responsibility is to build this automated workflow. And there are different tools today that you can use to do that. You can use Jenkins or Tecton. If you are using Kubernetes, you can use Tecton. And there are a lot of tools. GitHub Actions, which is a promising tool nowadays, many people are using. Use one of these tools to create a workflow. There are many other tools also that helps you, as DevOps, right? A lot of tools that helps you create such a workflow that would actually, every time the code change happens at the developer side, the code will automatically go through all this process until it reaches your production to your customer environment. So the reason why you need a automated CI/CD practice is that you, right, both things are very important to you. Software need to get modified very frequently, and this modified software become available to the customer, and that is also important. So every time software gets changed, that affect the reliability of the software. Then the CI/CD process automatically verify the reliability of the software, and if possible, you should make it measurable, right? Try to figure out how much confidence you can gain from your existing CI/CD process, and as you move on, you keep on improving your CI/CD process, bring in more tests, more verifications to increase your confidence levels that once the software is changed, it become ready to go to production. So that's what you try to achieve by implementing a proper CI/CD practices inside your work culture. And this is very, very important to you as a team, and that also, right, basically, rather than working as a single team, work together, right, and build a common workflow that takes your code to production without much effort from your side, right? And always remember these three things in mind, right? Most important things. And before we go there, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe, and turn on the notification so that you would continuously get notifications when I upload some content. All right, so these are the three things you should always remember. Business need software, and that is why software exists, right? Business needs it, and it is through the software that the business satisfy the requirement of their customers. And then software change, right? Business take a new direction, or sometimes your customer needs some change in the software, or sometimes there's a problem that you need to fix in the software. Software need to be changed, and then the changed software should be available and reliable to your customers, right? Every time a change get introduced to your software, that can potentially bring in a lot of new problems in your software, but at the end, before you take the software to your customer, all those problems should be rectified, and the end product should be reliable and available. So CI/CD is all about bringing a balance between the frequent changes that you want to do and also the reliability that you want to get, right? Sometimes don't try to achieve 100% reliability. That would reduce the speed. I mean, if you want to make sure that your software is 100% reliable, then you have to make compromises. You should not make changes to the software very frequently, or you should not take software to the production very frequently unless you are 100% confident that software is going to be reliable, which is not easy, gaining that 100% confidence. So your aim is not to achieve 100% reliability, but meet your SLA. You have your service level agreement with your customers. What is the reliability that you offer to them that you should be able to achieve, and you must achieve those SLAs, and at the same time you want to change the softwares. So find a proper balance between these two. That would be the ultimate aim of a proper CI/CD workflow that you are developing. So keep that in mind, and that's pretty much I wanted to talk about today. And if you haven't subscribed, like I said, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if this video supported you, like the video, and I will come up with a new video sometimes next week. So till then, see you.